Hi guys, my name's Doug. Welcome to my messy garage. In this week's video, we're going to be continuing on with the 1971 Snow Cruiser project. In last week's video, I mentioned that we were going to be replacing the rolled edge on the running boards, and in this week's video, I'm going to show you how I managed to do that. Follow along, hopefully you learn something. Thanks for watching. Okay, we made some progress. Before I get going too far, I want to point out that I'm making this up as I go along, and keep in mind, if I have success with this little project, that it was probably a good dose of luck. Don't necessarily do what I'm doing. It's not necessarily safe, it's not necessarily the right way. But hopefully it'll work for me. So I've cut off the bead. You can see what we've got here. Definitely has seen better days. So what I'm going to do is take a hammer and dolly and work my way along the edge here. Take out the worst of the dings and the dents. Cut off any place where there's still a little bit of roll left that needs to be cleaned up. And then I will prep the steel rod that I want to put in there to go in. You'll notice that I've cut out around this piece. This bracket holds the first set of bogey wheels in place, and we don't want to cut it off. So I notched this piece around. I don't want to take this piece out until we've got the bead back in and I've got a rough cut piece to go in here. For anybody that hasn't checked out his channel, check out Fitzy's Fabrications. He's from Newfoundland. I think he's in the St. John's area. I might be wrong about that. And he is an absolute artist when it comes to welding in fresh steel to replace rusty old crap. And one of the things that he always says is, build your new piece on top of your old piece. Don't just cut it out and then try and make a piece to go back in. It won't turn out anywhere near as nice. Unfortunately, I didn't get that advice until after I had done a bunch of this work, but I used that advice when I made this patch over here, and it was far easier and turned out far better. So I will be using Fitzy's advice when I go to replace this footboard. Anyways, I'm going to get this cleaned up, and I'll bring you guys back when I've got some of the work done. So here's the other side of the footwell. You can see that this is pretty badly pitted with rust. That's why I want to get it out of there. Place it. I'm going to try and knock this bead out of here so the new rod can slip forward. I got lots of rods, so that's not a problem. This still needs to get ground off. It's causing a little bit of interference to put the new rod in place. And I can see a few spots where I'm seeing through the sheet metal. Primarily back here. We'll have to get ground out a little bit and have some filler put in. I don't think for 3 little pinholes like that I'm going to hack out a piece of steel. This still needs some cleanup and some rust neutralization, but I think it is solid enough that we can salvage it. Don't have to replace it all. Let me do a little bit more grinding here and I'll bring you back and show you the progress. But I basically got it cleaned up close enough with the combination of the angle grinder and the die grinder. And I just have this clamped in with a couple of vice grips. Up here at the front, it is fitting in absolutely perfect, which of course, with a little bit of irony, is the piece that we have to cut out because it's all rusty down here. The rest of it is a little bit warped, as you can see. A little bit of a wow to it. But what we'll do is we'll slowly work our way along, clamp it down in place, put a few spots on it, and get it held. Once I've got it kind of in place where we need it, attached at the front, attach the rest of the way down, then I will make up a patch for the footwell here. Get rid of that rather pitted steel, as you can see. Definitely needs to go away. Anyways, I'm going to lay this back down, and then I'll set the camera back up, and I will try and leave it running while I'm doing some welding. Not that I am a professional welder by any stretch of the imagination, but at least it's something to show. Okay guys, I'm going to put some tacks on this and see how it goes. Let me say before I start, if you're looking for a video that teaches you how to weld, stop the video right now. This is not where you're going to learn how to do that. I am not a professional welder by any definition, and if you want to learn how to weld, there are far better channels than mine. I'm showing you what I'm doing, and if people choose to crucify me in the comment section, then so be it. I am not ever going to claim to be an expert when it comes to gluing rusty old sheet metal back together. Saying that, if you want to see how I do it, keep watching. Okay, you'll notice that I've changed jackets. This is a 100% natural fiber shirt. If you get a spark or a fire on synthetic fiber clothing, it tends to melt and stick to the skin. Not a good thing. Whereas natural fiber will burn, but generally it just kind of smolders and you can take it off, and when you do so, it takes the heat with it. So let's see what we can do here. Hopefully this camera, I've never tried recording welding before, so now you don't want to put too much heat into this at any one time. I'm probably, well, I'm putting a lot of heat into the solid rod. If you get too much heat into the thin sheet metal, it'll start buckling, and then you're into a lot of trouble trying to get those buckles back out. It is just far easier to go a little bit at a time, keep the piece relatively cool. You should be able to touch it. If you can maintain so that you can touch it with your gloved hand, then you should be good to keep going. You'll also notice that I'm kind of skipping an inch and a half thereabouts between, or we'll say 40 millimeters between, and again that is to try and control the heat. Take the blow snout, blow some air across, try and control the heat. Okay, so basically we're tacked in place all the way along there now, except at the back here, and I think I want to do just a little bit of massaging with the hammer. Doesn't look too bad. Getting a little warm though, so we'll put some air to it, cool it off. Throw a couple more tacks in here, and then we'll let things cool off. I'm going to let things cool off here for a little bit, and I'll bring you back when I start some more. Okay, as you can see here, I've made another quick pass with the welder, kind of welded in between everything. And as much as the temptation is to start bridging in between the welds, don't. If you do, you will start getting warpage in this more than if you just keep coming along. This is just warm enough that I don't want to be hanging on to it. So it's still a little on the warm side to hit it again with the welder. We'll give it a few more minutes, let it cool off, and then we will go at it. Also, up here at the front, I put a spot in here that ties the rod into the front belly pan. Anyways, I'll bring you back when I made a little more progress, and we'll see how this turns out. So far, I'm pretty happy with how it's going. Okay, here we are, guys. We got it all welded up. And yes, I know it looks like a whole bunch of wads of bubble gum, but realistically, that's what I was going for. I'm quite happy with how that's turned out. I'm going to take the grinder and give it a quick pass. and I'll bring you guys back to look at it when I am done. So there's the first pass done. Not absolutely perfect. There's still a little bit of pock marks. I'm going to go back and fill those in and work on rolling that edge over a little bit cleaner. You can see here it's a little bit rough. Definitely be a lot stronger than the original was, and I flipped it up on its side and looked at it, and it's yeah, got a little bit carried away right here with the welding or grinding maybe. For the most part, it's far nicer than what the original one was. Let me take another pass at this and I'll bring you back and show you the results. Okay guys, here we are. I'm basically going to call this little job done. Is it absolutely perfect? Nah. But this is the underside of the footwell, so basically it's going to be covered in snow whenever the snow machine is being used anyways. So I'm not too terribly concerned. But sighting down the end, it looks good. I've had it flipped up on its side, checked it out, and everything looks good. We still have this footwell we've got to do. That's the next job. And yeah, while I was working on it, I touched up a few other little spots that could do with a little bit of extra weld that I can then take and grind off and make a little bit neater. So I think we're going to call it there. Thanks for watching this one. Next video we'll do the footwell repair and finish a little bit of grinding on that I want to do on the bottom of the belly pan here. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If you have, please remember to like, subscribe, and comment. For more great content from Doug's Messy Garage, click on one of the videos that YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. Thanks for watching.